So, good afternoon and welcome to the 11th of May 2020. My name is Lou Martin, and here is the amazing and unstoppable Sarah Williams. Sarah, my friend.
Good afternoon, Lou. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
darling.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you.
Again, I love to chat with you, and we've
Thank
just been having a bit of a chat earlier.
Yes.
I'm on Facebook Live at this moment as well. So
Yeah.
I just like to say hi to my Facebook Live people as well, and there are now people building that group. So it's great to see you guys.
Thank you.
And with Lou, you know, it's just always such an honour and privilege to,
Thank
you
you.
know, to work with such a busy man. And Lou, your people that you've been having on your show just recently have been mind-blowing.
Thank you.
Mind-blowing, and you are an absolute fountain of wisdom, knowledge, and a point of reference and communication and connection.
Thank you.
The most immense amount of people. So yeah, thanks, Lou.
Well, that's why you and I are hanging out together. Thank you, darling. Likewise, it's a pleasure to be here with you, and we have so much that we want to share with people, and we're both also saying at some point we're going to figure all this out so we can do it live Q&A, so we can have people's comments and whatnot. So we definitely want to ask for everyone to put their comments if there's questions, that they have on Sarah's page. We might get a look at those at some point soon as well. But yeah, take it away. What would you like to chat about here today? We've gone through a great list of possibilities.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I can see on my live page here on Facebook that there can be some questions coming in. So, you know, good morning to the lovely people, Adrienne, Stephanie and Angela.
Brilliant.
And various other people that are coming up there. So if you do have any questions that you'd like Lou and I to answer, then put them into that and we'll see if we can come back to that later. But
super.
It's a really powerful day, and you know, I was listening to you this morning, Lou, when you were doing your amazing prayers that you do every morning at 9, and a little bit later, as I was listening to some of them, it was 11:11 on the 11th, and again, it's that I know, right?
Yeah.
It's all kind of number ones, you know, in your beginnings. We know the importance of double numbers, etc. And how important it is to set your intent on your most perfect outcome on every double number configuration that you see. I think I'd love to remind people that we are creating our moments, every moment, every single cosmic moment. We are creating exactly what we would like to manifest, exactly. In order to acknowledge that, we must take full responsibility for everything that's in our awareness, because we are creating it. We manifest.
Yeah.
That for me is the having also done, you know, I know that, you know, you and I, Lou, love we don't always listen to everybody, but we both particularly like Patricia Cotto-Roble.
Yes.
And you and I were sharing. I certainly went to sleep last night listening to her Mother's Day broadcast with Lauren.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and she did the most amazing. I know it's Mother's Day in the US and South Central America yesterday, and she did the most amazing divine feminine activation yesterday with all of the divine feminine entities. Entities is probably the wrong word, but the divine feminine energies.
Yes.
You know, Diana, whether it be Kuan Yin, whether it be, you know, Mother Mary, Magdalene, you know, or any of the those energies. So that was beautiful, and of course it comes to the divine heart. It comes to the oneness. It comes to love. And it comes to the, you know, unconditional love that we radiate out and shine all over the planet, as I've got behind me here.
Yes.
It's about moving through dimensions, and I'd like to talk about
yes.
today. Do that I'm on Zoom, but you guys are all just on Facebook Live, just watching me shake my hand backwards and forwards. But look, you know, we can actually move in and out of frequencies here.
Right. Right.
And that, for me, is a little topic that I'd like to cover
Sure.
if I can in
Sure.
this day.
Sure. Sure.
So I'd love to talk about 5D
Yeah.
and 5D. I'd also just like to, as a reference point for the timeline of this particular video, just mention, okay, yeah, we've had the, of course, the Mother's Day in the States, and it is the 11th, but the things that are happening at the moment. So I've written a few notes this morning that I shared with you, Lou.
Yeah.
One is quite interesting because our Queen in the UK has just decided to be stepping back for a few months, which is quite an interesting point. I'm not going to go into that any more deeply right now, but apparently she is foregoing some of her favourite activities this summer and is planning on stepping back from public duties until around August, September time. Now that is a pretty unique thing to be happening. And in the UK, I am here in the UK for a reason, and so you, Lou. But you know, that was going to come to light later.
Okay.
So I'm also observing the work that's happening over in the States at the moment, and what the president, who I've done a complete U-turn on, I have to say, going from one viewpoint to another very different, opposite viewpoint, only through my meditations and not through listening to other people. So you know, that is the POTUS and the FLOTUS type energy, and also for me the fact that you know, that I work very much with the galactics and time travel, and cloning is something that is of interest to me. I'm not interested in it any more than just observing it, I have to say, but I am observing time traveling and cloning as coming up as more of the AI, which I know astrologically is going to be huge toward the end of 2020, moving forward for the rest of the next decade. Now, these are all things that Lou and I, you know, we haven't yet chatted about. But the thing that sprung to mind around that was that, you know, as light workers, you know, Lou, you and I have been working as light workers for, you know, 25, 30, 35, you know, I know you many years, and me for, you know, nearly 30 years in this lifetime. So, and you know, you can say things that I'm like, do you know what, Lou? I don't necessarily agree with that. And someone else can be saying to me, well, Sarah, I think I can still catch the virus. And I'm wearing a mask and I'm doing social distancing and all that. And for me, that's really old hat now, because actually I mean, I know that you cannot catch a virus. I know that to a fact. But it doesn't mean to say that my friend down the road who still believes that you can catch a virus, I'm not going to not speak to her just because she has a different belief system to me. And, you know, Lou and I, you know, we're not going to stop being loving towards one another in light work kind of way just because you and I haven't got exactly the same standpoint on something.
Sure.
So what I'm seeing is that, and I'm finding really uncomfortable, is that many light workers who have become extremely tired, you know, through having been bombarded by the amount of people that are now newly waking up to everything that we've been awake to for the last 30 odd years or longer. You're suddenly feeling the barrage of newly awakened souls who are seeing every structure in their life being taken away. And if you see, you know, everything that you've ever believed in, from the health system to your work, to your friends, to your family, to your to the social structure everywhere, to your belief systems of government, to your belief systems of the patriarchy, of sovereignty, of um, every single structure that you could ever think that made you feel safe and secure being wiped away, Hollywood, you know, from you now. How is that going to make you feel? Full of fear, absolute fear and terror. Now, fear and terror are two things that we really need to stay away from for many reasons, because they are the manna for or food source for the shadow side of things. And we know that we need now not to feed the shadow side of things. So I'm talking about things like the Dracos and the reptilians, but not all of them, just the energy who were kicked off their planet in their galaxy and have been rampaging through the cosmoses, here we go, for millennia, just causing like naughty teenagers absolute chaos on any planet that they touch, and they've now been confined to Earth, and they're actually being killed in a pincer movement on Earth. And I'm going to come back to that at another stage. I won't talk about it too much now, but certainly in the work that I do moving forward, I'm going to come back to a lot more on that, because for me this is what really needs to be understood, so that we can all stay out of fear and to not enter into that. Because if you enter into fear, you're going to create something in the way that I first mentioned that you're worrying or fearful of, which will mean that, and I've written this stuff down because there were words that came into my mind set this morning. I can hypothesize. One person equals a hypothesis, right? A group, if you hypothesize, you can bring a hypothesis into a group, and the group can then theorize. Yeah. And a theory, you may have a conspiracy theory. A theory is when a whole bunch of people together are agreeing on a hypothesis, if that's the right word. And a
hypothesis, yeah.
Right word.
Hypothesis, yeah, you're okay.
Hypothesis, thanks. And then conspiring is joining together, right? So is that right, Lou? Conspiring, to join together?
Yeah, to conspire is to join together in a secret agreement, basically.
Okay, so so conspire and being secret. Okay, we're all secrets. We're in a Scorpio moon cycle now, so all secrets are coming to the surface right now. Okay, so so I just wanted to clear up the whole idea of the word conspiracy theories, because let's you know, someone shared a post with me yesterday. It's like it was a cartoon, and it was like. You know, somebody's face like this going, when you realise that the conspiracy theorists were right all along, you know, and you know, and things. So, you know, it's actually not as major as people like to think. And if you want to think about that, then people have been conspiring to think outside the box, and theorise as a group for a long time. And as you react to something, then, you know, to an event, then you create an emotion. And as you create an emotion, you can either worry about it or not. If you worry about it, it's, as I always say to my groups, you are worrying about something, is praying for something that you don't want.
Sure.
You are literally entering into an agreement and creating, as the creative beings that we are, into manifesting something that we do not want to happen. Now, what person in their right mind would do that?
Sure. Well, when we're in fear, we're not in our right mind.
So the idea is to step away from fear. Now, that's not that easy. So, so what my lovely friend Grace Solaris and I are about to start doing is to provide a platform or a network of and certainly we're going to start by doing this, to do with looking after those who've been working in this way for a long time, because we can, you know, there is a good chance that people are starting to feel quite tired. If you've been working for as long as Lou and I have with this, it does get a little bit exhausting to keep saying the same old, right? The same old, to people the whole time. And there are many, many newly awakened teachers that are more than well qualified to deal with, you know, all the stuff that Lou and I have been trying to help people with, when we have been the weird ones, you know, and now we're not the weird ones anymore. We are much more, you know, mainstream, as it were. Which, God, Lou, you know, when did you and I ever think that we could be mainstream with the amount of crap we've taken over the years?
Well, I think when they threw David Icke off his YouTube channel, we suddenly became a lot less unconventional. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, can I just say, my friend, I like what you're saying there. You know, of course, you and I know that to step back from fear, we need to have somewhere inside of ourselves to retreat to. And, you know, as we've been teaching for decades and helping people and practicing ourselves for decades, you know, if we have, you know, we can open our hearts, quiet our minds, awaken our spirits, then we come back into our power, and then we can look at chaos and confusion, fear, judgment, criticism, deception, denial, whatever it is, and, you know, kind of cut a path through that. And as you're saying, there are a lot of people that are awake right now that are younger than us, which is wonderful and exciting to see that. I had a 33-year-old minister whose fiance passed away 3 weeks ago, and he's now channeling her through, and he's doing a course with her about how to open to spirit. So, you know, it's a rockin' time. But I love what you're saying, hun. It's important that people have an ability to trust ourselves and to come to the truth, and then be discerning and discriminating. And that's what you and Grace are helping people to learn to do as well.
We'd like to do that, but this meditation that I did from Patricia, that we both loved last night, did me very much to step into the heart, and to step into the unity, and to step into the oneness, and to help to clear the confusion. And the only way that we can do that really is to come back to you, come back into the heart space, and to feel that oneness, with everything, and to share that love out, and to breathe, and really come back to that. So we know, Lou and I both know that where attention goes, energy flows, right? So wherever you put your focus is what you're going to create. And we know that the collective now, we need all of us. Anyone who sees this, who sees it on a replay, who shares it on, anyone who can connect with this, and it feels resonates with your heart. Then just to breathe, to observe when you go into fear, because we all do, all of us, especially with this Scorpio moon. Lou and I were just saying before we came on camera some of the personal things that that we've been going through, which aren't important to be sharing here now. But you know, even someone said to me yesterday, "Oh, it's really good to hear that even you are going through stuff." It's like,
oh yeah, nobody's immune from the panic and madness.
We're all the same, you know. I still fall over, I still wobble, I still have fear. And the only thing that that I can do to release that, for me personally, is to, and Lou and I, we both agreed on that, didn't we, this morning? We were saying how, you know, to meditate and to go within is the only thing that you can do to find clarity, because always your higher self knows. Your higher self will give you all of the information that you need. And even though, you know, you may love what Lou or I or some other beautiful light worker is saying, it may not all resonate for you, and that's okay. You know, don't believe in just trusting what one person says, or two or three say. I believe in entering in, because we're all aspects of one, and we're all going back to the light here. So we're all on unique journeys, and we've all had a different journey to get us to where we're at. So we're going to react differently to different formula that come into our frequency. So it might be that one person believes that they can catch a virus, and then you come back to someone who doesn't believe you can catch a virus, doesn't mean that one person is any better than anybody, than the other. It's just that where we're coming to from where we've come from,
Yeah.
and we process that about how we take it forward. And for me, I know Grace is now watching. Good morning, Grace. I've just been talking about you, darling. It just is so important for us to help people to stay in their own sovereign divinity, and not to rely on the input of others. To, yes, you can go to look for guidance and suggestions, but when it comes to it, your soul knows. We're all from the light. And that's where we're going back, that picture behind me. And for those of my lovely people on Facebook, I've got a picture of the planet behind me as a virtual background. And it's just about, I'm pointing at the unity consciousness, the divine oneness, the source light, that the source that we all go back to, divinity, the Mother, Father, God, the I am presence, the oneness, everything that is divine love. Everything else is just, part of the journey and part of what we're here learning about, so that we can take the information from each of our unique journeys back to the source light, and inform source, and then we can decide what we're going to do next. Do we want to come out and do another little journey around one of the suns in one of the galaxies and one of the universes, and somewhere like a Goldilocks zone, or a different kind of planet, whatever that may be. But it is choice, it is personal choice, and we have chosen to be here. And guys, we've got tools, we can do this.
Sure.
So, I really wanted to come to that. The other things that I just wanted to share very briefly,
Yeah.
are a couple of things. I am available now to do some radio vibration work online, because I was going to be moving to Portugal this year. That has been obviously put slightly on hold because of the situation with this viral thing. So what I am doing now is, rather than only really running one radio vibration level 7 course, I'm now going to do the entire 1 to 7 course online, which is something that I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone to do. And I only just started to introduce the idea yesterday, and I've already got I think it's something like 9 or 10 people who are interested in learning more about that.
Right.
I'm doing more promotion on that, but it's great. I've been talking since the early 90s about raising the vibration when I first started channeling these queens, and I had no idea what that meant. But now I do, and I know that most people around the planet are talking about raise your vibration. Well, why should we raise our vibration, and what the devil does that mean? So I'm going to try and help with people with clarification of that.
Okay.
If you're interested, then I'm on Facebook, and I'm on my organicaromatherapy.co.uk, and I've got my Facebook pages that we can put as links.
Sure.
I'm also going to WeMe as well, which as a secondary backup platform, because another thing that we say is, it's all very well setting an intent to be somewhere, to do something, but you don't just sit back on your backside and then expect the universe to create it without you doing anything at all about it. My experience of this is that you set an intent, you set a waypoint. I'm taught how to drive boats, and you set it at a waypoint, and as your navigational point. So maybe that's, let me just as an example say I'm going to live in Portugal. I'm going to go and live there. It was going to be at the end of this year, but the winds of the world have adjusted me and blustered the storms that have happened and happening currently, and are about to happen more of. They have blustered me a little bit, and I've had to adjust my sails but keep my focus, so that I can keep going to my point, but actually adjust my sails a little bit and refocus the way that I get there. And then I need to step back from the universe's amazing creative power, from addressing a timeline to that, because time only exists on planet Earth in 4D. It doesn't exist anywhere else. I'm on a watch for many years, you know. I mean, and it's really, really important, I think, to not have a timeline. And the amount of stress that I was starting to feel at the beginning of this year, when I was thinking, oh gosh, I'm running out of time before I can, you know, get ready to move the house and the business and everything and the animals and stuff down to Portugal. And then I sat back and I listened to my spirit guides and I thought, you know what, Sarah, you're the one that set the time zone. You're the one that's stressing yourself out over this. Why not actually just step back from that? Because there's no one else who's, I haven't got a boss. You know, I'm my own boss. Why am I giving myself a whole bunch of stress? You know, so I sat back from that and I just said, okay, we're going there. Up to you when we get there, but I am going to put some of the steps in place to get there and to follow through. So hence, I'm not going to be just on Facebook and just on one platform. I'm going to put something else in place that I'm now posting to. Should I have my freedom of speech, I don't like being gagged. You know, I don't like being told what I can say and what I can't say, because when I came to Mother Earth, I was given the understanding that this was a place of free will.
Sure it is. People give their power away. That's how we lose it, you know.
Which is exactly it. So I listen to people like Sacha Stone, who's extremely passionate, and I love what he's doing, and I love the fact he's out in Bali, because, you know, my daughter's there too. And he says it's the best place to be, and you know, well, yeah, absolutely. Some of us, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you know, wherever you're at on this planet, it doesn't really matter, because you are there because you chose to be there, and you have it in your soul's journey, your remit, that's where you want to be, and that's the stuff that you're going to deal with right now, and we need to take responsibility for all of those choices that we've made.
Yeah.
So that's my side one of my little piece of paper completed. That I wanted to mention, and the other things that I wanted to talk about is there was one little story that Lou has given me permission to share. Although, Lou, I haven't actually shared it with you yet. But you're extremely generous in your space and your time on your channel here, because look at you rolling your eyes, bless your cons. That this is a story, and it may be, I was with 3 friends, and this goes back now to, I think it was 2006. So we're going back a number of years now. Well, we're at 220. So we're going back sort of, you know, 14 years or so. And I was with 3 very spiritual friends, and we have been doing a lot of grid work, crystal grid work, all over the planet for, well, I've been doing it since way before 2012. So, you know, because that's part of my soul's journey, it's part of my soul's remit. And what I mean by crystal grid work is I have to take bits of crystal and put them into different parts around the planet. And because I live in and was born in the UK, most of my crystals most of them have had some connection, or all of them have had some connection with the UK. And the UK, as a lot of you know, is well, we have 2 chakras, 2 of the earth chakras are in the UK. One is the heart chakra, and the other is Earth Star, or it used to be. I think they're still the same, and I am happy to be corrected on this, because I know that things are shifting as the grids are shifting, as we are moving from 3D to 5D through 4D. I now know that, for instance, Bali, as I mentioned earlier, Mount Agung there is the new soul star chakra. But the heart chakra has resided in the UK for as long as I'm aware. And when I've done crystal grid work in places like Mexico, the indigenous ones that I've worked with there have pulled me to one side and said, "You from England?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And the first thing I usually say is, "I'm sorry." Because, you know, normally it's like, you know, where's the fish and chip shop, and why can't I get, where's the Irish bar, and all those sorts of things. When you're an English person traveling abroad, quite often there is not always there are a few things that I've always felt I need to apologise for, which, anyway, that's just a thing. Anyway, coming back to the story, so back in 2006, and it would have been the 21st of June, so that'd be the solstice in 2006, and I was with 3 very spiritual friends. We had decided to go down to Avebury, which is part of the heart chakra. So the heart chakra of the planet, of Gaia, it resides along the Michael line, the Michael ley line, and it encompasses Glastonbury, Avebury, and also Dragon Hill, and there are a couple of other places in that area. Now, it's there is a band either side of the ley line that encompasses the chakra energy. So yes, I do think Glastonbury is very important, but there are also, Avebury is massively important, as is Dragon Hill and some other places which are less known. Anyway, we were on our way down to Avebury, so we got up at the crack of dawn, and it was even before the crack of dawn actually, because we wanted to be somewhere toward Avebury by the time the sun rose, and we were planning on spending sunset there too. So we were going to spend the whole day in Avebury, which we did. And those friends know who they are. One now lives in Portugal, and 2 are still in this country, and I still see. Now, we stopped at Marlborough on the way down to Avebury on the 21st of June in 2006, and we went to a little cafe just because we'd left so early and we hadn't had any breakfast. So we just stopped in at this cafe, which was a normal kind of, in England, Greasy Joe's cafe, right? So it wasn't, when I say Greasy Joe's, it's just basically that sells bacon, some of it sells bacon sandwiches, cups of tea, bit of cake, there's a thing of ketchup and a thing of mustard on the table, a bit of salt and pepper, very basic, very down to earth. I'd never been to Marlborough before, let alone this cafe. So I was sitting at this little table, facing my friend, and you guys know that if you're sitting there talking to one another and your eyes meet, and you sometimes everything around that person's eyes goes fuzzy, and because you're focused on their eyes and looking directly into their eyes so that you can talk to their soul, and that's the way that I always connect with a soul. So I always forget what people's names are, but I never forget a soul. So she and I'll call her Karen, for want of an easier name right now. Karen and I were gazing into each other's eyes and talking. We're both pretty galactic. She's a walk-in and is trained very much in the land. Although she's very, very galactic, she, like me, has to ground it in some way. So she works very much in some very grounding shamanic Wicca pagan type ways in order to ground the energy.
You actually told us this story the last time we were on. So.
Did I really?
Yes, yes. So if we could kind of, laser down to what it is you want to make your point about, if that'd be great.
Cut to the chase.
Yes,
we also,
thank you.
There were two other occasions on that same journey that I probably didn't include, and that was one that happened in the pub at Avebury, and there is a pub, if you've ever been to Avebury, right in the middle of the 2 circles, the standing stone circles of the masculine and the feminine. It's been cut in half, and there's a pub there. So the same thing happened in the pub, where basically, for the people that are on Facebook Live right now and listening, I actually just felt, I just looked around, everything had become fuzzy behind Karen, and the 2 people sitting next to us said that we literally fizzed out. They stopped talking and they said that we fizzed out. We fizzed out of consciousness. They did not see us anymore. So, and then they looked at us as we came back into consciousness again. And I can share with you another time at how much love there was in that frequency.
I do remember. Yes, it was beautiful. Yes.
I think that's the real point, Lou.
Okay, I'm glad we're getting there rather than describing every detail of the day. Yeah, bless you.
Bless you. Yeah. I'm good at procrastinating, and I love it that you're putting me up on that. Thank you for that.
Well, it's the point, Sarah, I love you madly, honey. The point is, of course, that, you've had these experiences of getting out of time and space, and you're inviting all of us to know that these experiences are available for all of us as we're going through these great changes.
Yes.
Okay, so I take that point. Yeah.
So that's the point. So what we can do is to, and I've been guided that actually, because we are in this dimension now, we can actually bilocate, we can move ourselves not through a vehicle of a car or an airplane. We can actually bilocate and move to these places with our intent. One of my guidances this lifetime is to help people to do that.
Sure, which is a huge revelation. And I don't mean to diminish that you've had these experiences. I've not had these experiences. So it's a great thing. It's just wonderful that you're willing to share that with us. And I really do appreciate that.
It's just about love. And I've never felt the love that I felt for the people in that Greasy Joe's Cafe that day. I have never felt a oneness and a love for as many people as everybody in that cafe, she and I both knew. We didn't, but we did. And this is what's going to happen on the planet.
Right.
The fact is we are all coming together as one. And as Patricia said in her Mother's Day thing last night,
yeah,
we are all one, we are all the same. There is no difference. And as Amanda Lawrence, who's doing her lovely sharings from Glastonbury Tour, is saying the same, everybody is saying the same thing now.
Yeah.
All about love and oneness and non-judgment and the frequency of that. And that is how we're going to move into 5D.
Amen to that. Amen to that, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Brilliant. So yeah, what else did you want to share with us today, honey? That was lovely. Thank you.
Was there anything else I wanted to share? I'm just having a quick look at my notes here.
Sure. Sure.
I mean, Patricia's stuff last night, the word I, we, me, by saying the words I am, it brings you back to love. It brings you back to that beautiful place of love.
Yeah.
And creating from love. But to remember that in order to find that place of love, then we need to, as you and I were saying earlier, Lou, we all need to visit the place of fear, perhaps occasionally, and to recognize what's just happened. So to pull back into the automated chakra and to see, or Jade Gate or Well of Dreams or whatever you want to call it, because I know my dear friend Christina Wellbeloved is also watching here on live. Yeah. If there are any questions on live, then please, there are quite a few people watching there. Just in case you do want to ask any questions,
sure.
That can come up. But this is Lou's channel, and I just want to say that the more that we can come back to love, which is I know what Lou embraces so fully, and provides such an amazing service of that we need to feel the fear, observe the fear, observe and forgive ourselves being in that place, and then to come back out. And I know that all the people that you have on your show, Lou, say the same thing. So we're all singing from the same hymn book. We're all coming from the same place, but it's all the same message.
Sure. Yes, it is. And again, darling, that's a life-changing experience that you're shared with us so beautifully. And any of us that are in this service, as we're called to be, and your friends who are on here with us, it's it's a huge responsibility, and it's enormous privilege. And we all have the same, fears and struggles and worries that everyone else does. It's just that, people like yourself and myself and others, we have been willing to think outside of the box, is I guess the way I put it into context, like you were saying about theories and hypothesis and conspiracies and all that. And as you and I were talking earlier, we are really being, the whole planet as never before. This initiation, to my mind, is to know the truth within us, as you said so beautifully, and that truth connects us back to love. But this is every person's most personal journey. So what Sarah and I can do is give you the context and cheer you on and invite you to step through the doorway. And then you have to do the work. You have to have those intentions. You have to have that willingness to change your mind. And fear, of course, is fear. Pain and fear is how human beings grow. You know, pain, fear. Okay, what else is there? You know, let me open my heart to love. So again, honey, thank you for sharing all that, because it really is quite special and sacred. Of course it is. And you know, we might get it in the Greasy Joe's in Avebury, or we might, you know, get it here and now today. Because don't you, as we talk about raising the vibration, isn't that kind of the perception that, you know, the whole planet is coming back into an alignment with its sacred and eternal loving nature. So everything that isn't about that is kind of being raised up in our consciousness, and we're being asked to forgive ourselves, as you said, take responsibility, and, you know, change our mind and open our hearts, you know?
Absolutely that, and as you say so rightly, and these beautiful people that you've been, you know, with your amazing service, with, you know, interviewing so many, and I know that you said that you're speaking to another 3 people on the first of 4 interviews. You know, big shout out to Lou Martin, you know, for everything that you're doing, in order to help people to, you know, I mean, Lou's available for online readings, you know, and I've had a reading and talked to Lou, and you know, Lou is so in touch with spirit, and so beautifully guided, with his channelings, and with you're great with words, and the words that come through you, are just incredible and full of wisdom.
Thank you.
So anyone who wants to get in touch with Lou for, you know, to have a private reading with him, I highly recommend it. I mean, I do them too.
Thank you.
But the beautiful thing is, you know, and I don't just say that lightly. Also, big shout out to all Virgos out there, because Lou, me, and Grace are all Virgos. We're extremely fussy, yeah, bring on Virgo energy, but we're extremely particular about getting it right, aren't we?
Sure. Sure. Yes, that's fair. Yes, we're extremely
Yeah.
fussy about getting it right. I'd say that's true enough.
You know, we're also really critical, aren't we, of
Sure.
ourselves? No
Sure.
one can criticize a Virgo like a Virgo.
Sure.
You know, we are the best at criticizing ourselves. There are only 2 ways about it. We're brilliant at it.
Sure.
So yeah, it's something that, you know, you're going to be drawn to the right place for you. And you know, it might be Lou, it might be me, it might be somebody else, it might not be anybody. It might be just going, you know, it might be, I don't want to use the word just, I think just go, you know, but to go within, and to always to double check from your higher self.
Sure. Sure.
Not
Well, sweetheart, I thank you for all those kind words, and I just want to add to what you're saying there, because I think that's a whole other theme. Is that, you know, I feel, you know, we really are at the end of the patriarchy and the hierarchy, and presidents and popes and queens and kings and all of that stuff is just, you know, in the big fade right now. And as you're saying, you know, if you and I get the opportunity to support other people on their path, that's a privilege and a joy. But of course, everyone is their own best teacher, and we will never supersede anyone else's inner authority. And the last thought here is, in this fragmentation of consciousness that's happening globally right now, it's getting more and more subjective. So what we personally believe and what we personally align with, that is our deepest truth, the universe, if that is connected to the capital T truth, that's true today, tomorrow, and forever, the universe is going to help us, as it is, my dear friend, you know, both of us were helping each other here today, get our message, our vibration, our energy, our ideas out to the world. So the last thing I want to say is, you know, so often you and I are working with people and we're saying, come on, folks, you know, lift yourselves up a little bit, see yourself more clearly, stop holding yourself back, or stop feeling not enough or too much this. You know, if you're inspired to work in this way and to look in this direction, there is not an accident about that. The universe is calling you. And so, you know, take the next step, whatever that might be, whether it's Sarah, myself, or Grace, or anyone else. But no, you're teaching yourself. That's how it really works.
Absolutely, Lou. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Yeah, my pleasure, as always. Yeah. Love you. Love you madly. Yeah.
Love you too, and thank you so much for having me on your show today, and keep up your amazing work. You know, you are just a shining star, Lou, an
Thank
absolute
you.
shining
Thank you,
star.
dear.
Thank
Takes
you
one,
so
takes one to
much.
know one.
Well, we're all working, you know, together as one, from one, and back to one. So, you know, that's it. We're all part of the same family.
Thank you. Thank you, darling. Anytime. It's my pleasure. And have a brilliant afternoon. And I will talk to you soon. All my love.
And to you. Thank you, Lou.
All right, sweetheart.
Bye for now.